Hey guys, welcome. You found the link. Sorry for the mishap in posting the wrong link in the group. Hey Beatrice. All right. Awesome. I just realized I have a glass of water here and I don't have it in a place where it's going to spill. So let me just fix this for a second. That's not something I want to happen. Then we'll get started. How are you guys doing? Where are you at? We are we're in Northwest Arkansas, and it's super hot and gross and muggy here, which I'm not used to, not being from the South. But then we had rain come for the last weekend. It's been so nice and cool and not as humid. And then today it just like skyrocketed back up. So, ugh. Oh, Miami. I've never been to Miami. I would love to go down there, down to that part of Florida, but not this time of year. Yeah. How hot is very hot? So the thing is, I like hot. I like hot. It's the humidity takes a lot of getting used to, and Florida is way different from here too. It's the humidity is something else. Being in Northwest Arkansas, I don't know if it's different from South. It's definitely different from Texas when we were there, but well, I think we're about 90, mid 90s today. Anyhow, let's see here. I just realized too. There it is. I was missing my phone. We're good. Mustang, Oklahoma. Nice. West Virginia. All right, guys. I don't want to waste your time. I want to get going on this. And in fact, the sooner we get through this, if you want to hang around a little bit, maybe we could do a little bit of bonus training. I don't know. I was doing the slides and I thought, I bet we might have some time. Um, we will see. I tend to go about a minute a slide, and we have enough slides to get through that helps me gauge how long it's going to be. I would like to just honor the hour that we have, and but if we can get through this sooner, I'm happy to take questions, and maybe we can even dig into some little gems that I'm happy to throw your way. Okay. All right. So I would love to know. I've seen where you guys are watching from, and can you give me some information as far as how familiar you are with KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing? Excuse me. We're gonna define it. We're gonna, dig in, but it will help me know how much I need to stay on a certain topic. If I know where you guys are at. Do you have a book published? Do you almost have a book published? Do you just have a book in mind? Do you have no idea what in the world I'm talking about? Are you thinking, shoot, I'm on the wrong webinar because I don't want to write anything? Where's your experience level with KDP? Nice. Okay. Very little, beginner, no book, published a few. Okay, Steve, you're ahead of the game a little bit. Hopefully there'll still be some gems you can get from what we're going to talk about today. Book ideas, that's a great thing. Ideas are never the problem. So it's always nice to have good ideas. And hopefully you'll learn how sometimes we have, how do I word this? There's a lot of good ideas. And I am an idea person. I love ideas. I'm always coming up with new ways to solve problems, and there's a lot of good ideas. The challenge is discovering which good ideas are the right ideas. And I have a little trick that I use to do that, but we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get going. No book can't. All right, you guys are in the right place. So what I want to do is focus on how you can make money with KDP. I know for a lot of people, things are really tough right now. And even if it's not right now, at some point we've been in a place where we need to generate money. We want to be more independent. Maybe we want to generate income, additional revenue streams for vacations, or maybe it's just to help get by and to build up a business with multiple income streams. And the beauty of KDP is there's so many ways you can apply it to generate income, depending on your time, depending on your expertise and all of that stuff. So just wanted to tell you, you are in the right place. I'm really excited. Let me share my screen and we will start. Let's see here. I'm just going to do this and do the spoiler. You get the little spoiler over here. Just don't pay attention to that. It's just easier. All right. Housekeeping. This is Zoom, and I know a lot of you guys are real familiar with how Zoom works. So we are recording this. It would be really helpful for me if you could put your questions in the Q&A. If you have questions along the way, rather than in the chat, that just kind of helps me keep things kind of clean. Now let me get everything else closed up so that I'm not distracted by little notifications coming in, which should have happened before. Okay, so we're going to talk about how KDP can help you increase your revenue. I think I'm going to just say that the more I get involved in KDP and these strategies and this tool, the more I am absolutely convinced that more people need to know about KDP and how it can impact their business. So I've been working with KDP, that platform, for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. In fact, this is the first book I published. Let me see the date. 2016. So 8 years. It wasn't KDP at that point. It was Create Space. This was my first book. It's called Haywire Christmas. I didn't write it. Honestly, it was not. It's kind of a weird story, actually, how I wrote it and how it came about. But my husband ended up losing his job. I was frustrated and struggling through that and processing through a blog. Decided to turn some of those blog posts into this book and publish it. And I didn't really know what I was going to do with that. I just felt like that's what I needed to do. So I did. It's a very small, very thin book. I think it's like, I don't even know how many pages, 40 something pages. All right. It's a 12-day devotional called Haywire Christmas. And what the funny thing is, it just was, I felt like I needed to do that. So I learned Create Space, got this published. Create Space is what KDP, the print on demand used to be. And then in the fall, or I don't remember, but anyway, after I had published it, so it was in 2016, I decided to enter it into a contest for Oregon Christian Writers Contest. And it was a finalist, and which was hilarious because it was really not, it was more just a heart project. Okay. But anyway, I learned so much through that whole process. It didn't win. I didn't win. It was just the finalist, which is still a great achievement, even though it was never my intent to do that. But what it did was it opened up other doors of opportunity for speaking and different things that I were not on my radar at all. So again, KDP, this was Create Space, which now is rolled under KDP, but that's where I started with KDP. It was back in 2016. And at the time, I was partnering with a friend of mine. We were teaching creative strategies for Amazon. And I'm like, I think KDP could be a part of this. And so I dug in deeper and have learned more. So I guess it's been 8 years. It's crazy. Time is a weird thing right now. So 8 years, 7 or 8 years, I've been working with this strategy. And the more that I dig in, the more I really believe that everybody, I would say 98% of entrepreneurs or small business owners or even big businesses should be taking advantage of something like KDP. Okay. I just a little bit, 8 years doing 7 or 8 years publishing and learning and testing creative strategies with KDP. I started my business back in 2002 after my daughter was born. Actually, it's probably more like early 2003, and started with eBay, moved into Amazon, moved towards really helping other people get onto those platforms and really use them as tools and creatively, not your, normal flip and sell. So that's a whole nother story I'm happy to dig into, but we'll have to get coffee. But I've been around for a long time, and I've been with KDP since the beginning for paperback books. Okay. So KDP, if you're totally new, let's just start there. It is Amazon's print on demand. It stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. And that's been around for a while, but it always was the ebook or the e-reader, right? I don't have a Kindle. My kids all have Kindles, but I prefer the paper. So anyway, we think of it as that, but now when KDP absorbed Create Space, that became part of the Kindle Direct Publishing offering, which is paperback books. Now they have hardcover as well. So paperback books that are print on demand, that you can self-publish is huge. It's a huge opportunity, and here's why. With Amazon, that's where all the customers are, right? So we want to be on Amazon's platform. Print on demand means I don't have to invest anything. They print to order. I upload my manuscript, I upload my cover, whatever, and don't get too freaked out about the word manuscript. That's just what they call that interior. But you upload those things, you put your title, your author, write a description, you set your price, and that's it. You don't have to pay anything, you don't have to ship anything in. And Amazon, they have your listing up, and when someone buys your book, then they print it, they take their cut, and they send you a royalty. So it's really hands off. Once you do the work on that front end, it can generate income for you on the back end. But there's a lot of different ways that you can creatively use Kindle Direct Publishing to generate income that we're going to cover. But again, I want to and I should start with this slide. Don't freak out. You do not have to be a writer, okay? I love to write. I like to do it creatively on my own terms, on my own time. If I have deadlines, it's hard, way hard. But doing my own thing is a lot of fun, and it's a way that I process. But I'm not talking about that kind of a book. I'm not talking about this kind of a book, even though this one's short. I'm not talking a book that you write from, a long blog that you have. I'm talking about, we're going to be talking about low content books. I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. You absolutely do not need any writing. You don't have to do any writing. Okay. So we'll talk more about that and what that can look like. But I want to also just take a moment to go back to KDP and what that is. Kindle Direct Publishing, it's a tool. Okay. It's not your business. It is an income stream. It can actually, that's not even true. It can generate an income stream, but it is, if KDP was to go away, just like if Amazon was to go away, if you're an Amazon seller, how many of you guys are Amazon sellers or eBay or Walmart, maybe Facebook Marketplace, but you're in the e-commerce world, or is this completely new all around? The point I want to make is that KDP, just like Amazon, just like Walmart, Facebook Marketplace, anything that's a platform like that, they are tools for your business. And that really has, that hit home for me early on in my business when I was selling on eBay, and I came across, I think many of you guys know Jim Cockrum. I came across his book. I was burned out on eBay. I had a toddler and a newborn. And nice, Steve. I didn't know that. I think I'm doing the same with the first edition. I had a toddler and a newborn, and I was selling on eBay and completely burned out. It was taking over our house. I was just worn out with my kids and the work, and it was just crazy. And I was thinking there's got to be a better way to do this. And I stumbled on Jim Cockrum's book, The Silent Sales Machine. I believe it was version 1. It was end of 2002, maybe early 2003. Highly recommend the book. Back then it was way smaller, very different. I think he's on like version 15,200. I don't know what version he's on. He's like past version 10. I know, like maybe for 15, but this was like the first version. And the whole point of it to me, what stood out to me was that eBay was a tool for my business, and how he taught me how to use eBay and how to look at it differently. Instead of an e-commerce platform, it was a tool for me to build an email list. It was huge moment. The floodgates opened. It was like all of a sudden I saw this totally differently. And that's really what I would like to do for you. Even if you're new to KDP and Kindle Direct Publishing, I would like you to see that this is something completely different. That you don't have to, I like to look at things creatively and how you can apply them in a way other people aren't. And that's what I'm hoping to encourage you with, that there's so much opportunity to apply this to your business to generate income. All right. So what is so great about KDP? I said a little bit of this already. First, the customers are there. Okay. We know that. I should have looked to see what the traffic numbers look like, but we know most people are shopping on Amazon.com. And in fact, they're not just shopping. It is not just a product catalog where people go in and they type in a specific book. In fact, usually they're not. Usually they're browsing. It's a search engine. And so when people go in, they're looking for, I'm looking for some Christmas cookie cookbook. They're browsing. They don't know exactly. I'm looking for a gift for mom. Those are the keywords that they enter in. That's where the customers are, but it's not just a catalog to them. It is a tool that's helping them determine what it is they need to buy, right? So if you can learn how to leverage that tool and leverage KDP, then that's even more tapping into Amazon's customers. So much here that we're going to dig into, but this is huge. Customers are on Amazon more than they are on other platforms right now. Okay. There was a time when customers were on eBay more than they were on Amazon. When Amazon started their FBA program, the Fulfilled by Amazon program, that really switched. A lot of eBay sellers were really frustrated with eBay. They're frustrated with the seller restrictions that were going on at the time. This was years ago at the time. And in 2006, I believe, it was the summer of 2006, Amazon surpassed eBay in traffic. We don't know if that's going to happen again, if eBay is going to surpass Amazon someday, or Walmart's going to surpass Amazon. Who knows? Okay. But right now, we know that the customers are on Amazon, so we're going to leverage that. Secondly, what is so great about KDP is there are zero inventory costs, zero, zippo, none. It's great. Are any of you guys on merch? Are you familiar with merch? We don't talk about that quite as much, although I still make money from it, which is amazing. But merch is Amazon's print-on-demand platform for merch. They started with t-shirts, short sleeve. They got V-neck, crew neck, long sleeve t-shirts. They have sweatshirts. I was just on there recently creating a shirt, which has been a while for me. And they have pillows and all kinds of new things. Now I'm trying to remember what else. Tote bags. They have pop sockets and phone cases. Lots of things. That's merch. So now merch is tough lately. Yeah. I'm honestly, I'm not on it I don't do much with it, but I have designs that were put up probably 4 or 5 years ago, and they still generate income for me from merch. That's the beauty of print on demand. You get your designs up for KDP, you get your book interior and everything up, and it can work for you for years. Okay. And it doesn't cost you a penny. It just costs you your time. So you don't have to go to the store. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to ship anything in. You don't have to go, oh, I'm low on inventory. I need to make sure I keep my inventory up. You don't have to track any of that, and you don't have to pay for any inventory to send in. Okay, there's no book limit. Now, they have capped a book limit, how many books you can publish in a day. That's 3, okay, which isn't too bad. But that's the only limit. There's not, with merch, you had to level, have different levels. I think I'm at 500. I think you started at 25, 10, I can't remember. And once you met certain criteria that nobody knew, then they would level you up and you got more slots to put designs up. It's not like that with KDP at all. No long approval process. That was another problem with merch, that you had to apply. You don't have to apply. You just set up your account. And you do that, if you haven't set up an account, you do that at kdp.amazon.com. It's free. The only thing that might take a little while is getting the banking. And the reason you need your banking set up is because they want to pay you royalties. Okay. And of course, if you run ads, something like that, that's gonna need to be set up. But really, it's for your royalties. So there's no long approval process. You can get your account set up usually within a week. They send money, a couple cents to your bank, and you have to say how much they sent, all that stuff. So it's just usually a couple days, but I'd say give it a week. No long approval process at all that you have to go through. Again, along with the no inventory costs, there's no shipping. There's no shipping costs. There's no storage costs. None of that. It's just beautiful. And one of my favorites is that it's free. If you don't have the capital to start an e-commerce business, KDP, guys, there's one strategy I'm going to share with you that within, I'm going to say 2 weeks. Okay, that might be a little aggressive. Between 2 to 4 weeks after learning KDP, you can have one income stream that can be generating you up to, I would say, $5,000 per client that you work with. It's business partnering. We're going to talk about that. It costs you nothing, and you can get that. That's my favorite way to use KDP. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But what's amazing is there's no costs involved. So once you learn this process, your opportunities just grow incredibly, and opportunities to generate income. And to have it cost nothing out of pocket is beautiful, especially when things are kind of tight, or not even just tight financially, but it's always a good idea to have multiple income streams. Now, this is tied a little bit to your Amazon account. It's not through Seller Central. KDP is its own platform. So if you're a seller, KDP has its own platform. They have their own ad platform, all of that. It's different. You won't see your books on Seller Central, but they do use the same login. It's kind of weird. Actually, it's a login for your Amazon account. You can, anyway, that's a whole nother, that's beyond what we're going to be talking about here. The point is that it's free. And so it does generate an additional income stream. And I will say too, going back to the idea that it's a tool, and that it's your Amazon, if something was to happen to your Amazon account, there are other tools that are very similar to KDP. I favor KDP because Amazon favors KDP, and that's where the customers are. So but there are other platforms. I had my account suspended for a book. I got it cleared. But and my first thought was panic. And then after that, I thought, no, I don't need to panic. It's just a tool. There are other tools that I can use. And I started learning more about these other tools, and then I got my account back. So just so you know, that's beautiful. It's a free tool. If something happens, you just move to another tool that does the same thing. Is that a pain? Yes, it's a pain, but it is an option. Okay, there is that opportunity. My absolute favorite thing about KDP, though, as much as I like all of these, is that there are multiple ways to use it to generate income. It's not just one thing. It's not just buying one product and flipping it. It's not about a certain process to find one product and flipping it. There are so many ways that you can use KDP. I'm going to talk about 4 of them, and I'm sure that there's more than just these 4. But in fact, I know there's more, but that's what we're going to talk about, these 4. And I think anything else probably branches off of there. But we're going to really dig into just this power, the power of KDP, and how you can generate multiple income streams. And when you take KDP, all those benefits that I just went over, and you combine that with the power of low content, which is where that no writing, you don't have to write anything, comes in, that is huge. It's just beautiful. It's a very powerful combination. But let's talk about low content. I've been talking about low content for about 7 years after I wrote this book, and I started learning more about how you can get creative with KDP. I discovered this idea of low content books. And since then, KDP, probably the last 2 years, 3 years, maybe, I don't, time's a little bit skewed for me, but KDP has defined low content book. And since we're playing in their sandbox, we need to go by their rules. So the way they define low content is, and it's a little bit subjective, but it's a guideline, I suppose. Low content is defined as pages that tend to be repetitive. The book has repetitive pages that are filled in. I think a manual also goes underneath, will fall under low content. I have a book that my son has published, we've been working on together, and it is preschool cutting practice pages. And every page is different, so it's not repetitive. The activity is repetitive. Every page has a joke on it, a different joke. So according to KDP's rules, it's not technically low content book. We have multiple versions of this book. So they feature different sea creatures. And we published one of them as a regular book, not a low content book, and it went through just fine. It goes through a review process. We published the second creature, identical book, different jokes, different sea creature in the book, but the cutting pages were all the same. And it got flagged as needing to be a low content book. So these go through review. That's where it's just a little bit subjective. And it is what it is. So I always try to push things through as not low content, how Amazon defines it. Or if I do, I want to make sure I understand how that impacts me. And all it does is that Amazon, there are some features that they do not allow for low content books. Now, my definition of a low content book is anything I don't have to write, and it's not a long form chapter book. Okay. So there's a lot of in between where Amazon says, hey, everything is repetitive. You know, you've got like a log or a tracker, a planner. Every page is pretty much the same. It's filled in completely by the customer. That's the low content book. I get that. In my mind, though, if I can generate a cookbook or something, we'll talk about a bunch of prompted journal, things like that. Those aren't necessarily low content books according to Amazon. So there's a little bit of a gray area there. But what I'm talking about when we talk about low content is these types: a guided journal, a workbook, cookbooks, anything you're logging, a logbook, a tracker, a quote book, a planner, doodle book, music sheets, handwriting practice, medical tracking, fitness logs, anything along these lines is a low content book. And more is when you get into this and you start looking on Amazon and doing some research, you will see so many more opportunities, such as this book. This blows my mind. You guys need to think about this. Is crazy. So this book right here, it's called Interesting Facts for Smart Kids, 1,000 plus fun facts for curious kids and their families. Okay. By Cooper the Pooper. Okay. This is not my book. This book sells for $11.60. It's got 708 ratings at the time that I took the screenshot. And so it probably has more than that. We all know that people do not everyone leaves a review, right? So, you know, maybe 20% have left a review. We could say, let's be generous, 50% left a review. So they've got well over 1,500 sales under their belt on this book. I don't know when it was published. I didn't get that information here. But this is what the book looks like on the inside, guys. Every single page, it is 1,000, maybe it's 1,001 of just funny facts or fun facts. There's not even a theme about it. It's not even fun facts about the ocean or anything like that. So this is it. And so, you know, it's impossible to lick your own elbow. So this is a little off topic, but you could use AI to help generate a list of facts, reword them in your own wording, make it your own. Okay. Of course, you would need to fact check and do all of that. There's other ways that you can use other content legally that's not AI. AI can help you organize it. Anyway, lots of opportunities. This whole book, all this is, every page looks just like this. They're selling it for $11.60. And right now, using this handy dandy tool, it looks like, and this isn't completely accurate, but from the data we have, then this was what the time that I ran this, which was actually probably about a year ago, 171 sales a month, which generates almost $2,000 in monthly revenue. Okay, that's not royalties. They would need 60%. They would get 60% of that. So I don't know. They created this book, super simple, published it, and it's generating a significant amount, a good revenue stream. They don't have to ever touch it again. They don't have to go to the store and find more of this book and ship it into Amazon. They don't have to do anything. The listing sits there working for them over and over and over again. It is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I love that example. There's lots of examples like that. And I could do a whole presentation on those examples. If we have time, we can go look and find some more at the end. But let me just show you a few other, actually, this one is an example. It's presented a little differently, but this is a workout logbook. This would be a low content book according to Amazon because every page in the book is like this. Okay. It's just repeated pages that your user fills in. This particular book sells for $6.99. At least it did at the time that I got this, and it was generating 200 plus a month. I don't know that, you know, that's a little over $100 a month revenue from a book that they created once and is working for them every month. Imagine having 10 of these. Maybe just the cover's a little different. Maybe the interior is just a little bit different. It's money that it's generated automatically. automatic revenue streams, automated revenue streams. Here's another example. I don't have the pricing on this one, but this is a low content book. This is a lifetime of memories. We created a book similar to this that I'll share with you later, but it's just these questions of, you know, what full names were you given? So this doesn't say it's for anybody in particular, a mother, father, grandparent, but it's just a lifetime of memories for someone to fill out so that those memories can be kept and it becomes a legacy book, really. That's a low content book. Mileage logbook. We know what those look like. The 1-minute gratitude journal. That could actually look like anything you want it to look like. Now, 1 minute, I will say we've learned and that some of these terms you need to be careful, make sure they're not trademarked. The 1-minute gratitude, 5-minute gratitude journal, I think it is trademarked. The 5-minute journal, that's trademarked. So you just can do a quick run only for your title. But anyhow, let's keep going. The ultimate comic book with prompts. This is amazing. I love this. I've been wanting to do one of these. I haven't. If anybody does, I'd like to see it. This is, you can see what it is. The pages inside just move these little graphics around. So it's a different, you know, the kids or the whoever buys the book fills in the pictures. They draw the pictures and use these prompts, zap, smack, all those, you know, comic book prompts to help kind of lead their story along. I think this is amazing, great idea for a low content book. Handwriting practice paper. My mom, she teaches preschool and she's coming out with a series right now where it's that's every letter. So you practice with the letter A. What she has is a scripture verse that starts with A, and B, scripture verse, or it has the letter B in it or something. Goes all the way through the alphabet. I don't know where she goes, but I don't know when she gets to the J and the harder letters, but handwriting practice, it doesn't have to just be like this. It can be, this would be low content, but if you had every page being a little different what they're tracing, then it wouldn't have to be marked as low content when you're doing your book. All right, those are some ideas for low content books. There's so much out there. I want to talk about how you can make money with this, okay? I showed you that some people, just some examples of the money they're making with these low content books. With this book, the interesting facts for smart kids, and this workout log book, they're generating some income from something they created once, uploaded it, they never have to touch it again. Okay. All right. But that's one way to make money, is creating books and publishing them and just making money from the books. There was more than that. Let's talk about that. Actually, let's start with this one. I thought I had it in different order, but this is my favorite. So I mentioned it briefly. You can make $500 to $5,000 very easily by partnering with businesses. This is really my favorite. I do this the most. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I like to do this. Let's just put it that way. I don't advertise it too much. Usually I have people coming to me and we work together to provide a low content book for their business. Now, I did partner with someone who had a long form book they wanted to write. And I didn't have to do any other writing. I didn't do any editing. Actually, that particular client never even finished the project. And that totally fell on him. And what happened, and I'm just going to share this because this is business. But I met this person at a retreat. We were both speaking. I was speaking about KDP. And in fact, I was talking about how easy it is. Okay. And he saw my book, Sweet Spot Revenue. I had just published it at the time. And he was looking at it and he's like, this is a great book. This is really the paper's nice quality. It's public, like it's bound really nicely. And so he asked me if I could do a book for him. And I said, sure. And I quoted $5,000. I told him I'd do the cover. I told him I would do all the formatting. He just needed to get the content to me and I wouldn't do any editing. And he didn't even blink at that. Okay. And the way that I bill it, I bill half up front, half at the back end. So I ask for 50% up front. I get all the work done, send it off to my team to do it, or I do it myself, whatever I want to do. And then when it's done and I deliver a finished product, then they're billed for the last 50%. He paid it all up front. Okay. And we got a cover figured out. He was working on the book. He had an outline. and he just never got it to me. And I kept saying, hey, I need to get that book. And then we started talking about deadlines, and it kept getting pushed out and pushed out. Then COVID came, and I said, hey, I'm still here. I'm happy to, to jump on with you and hammer this out. And, you paid for this. Let's get this going. And he's like, you know what? Can I just keep you on retainer? How much would it cost for me to keep you on retainer? Because I'm not ready to do this. I'm like, you don't have to worry about that. Just come back to me when you're ready and we'll get it published. That was COVID time. So that was 2020. It's been 4 years. And I bugged him, and he didn't, I'm still available because he did pay for that. But I'm just saying that he didn't even blink at it, okay, at partnering at $5,000 to do the work. It is not difficult, but here's the thing. Of course, he could, I was sitting there, I was talking about how easy KDP is. He heard my presentation. He was not in the business of writing or publishing books. He couldn't even get his book written because he was so busy, okay? But he was not in the business of publishing books. And that's why he was willing to hire somebody. And it was worth it for him to pay $5,000. I also, the way I do it, I don't get a book per book. I don't get any kickback on the books. Once the book is published, I give it completely to my client. So I don't have any control. They have full control over it. This is unheard of. Like this is not traditional publishing. And a lot of businesses don't understand that this that they can do what? You can have a real book with an ISBN number on the back, and it looks like and feels like a real book, and I only have to order one at a time. Or what if I have changes? I can make the changes and they're instantly changed online. And so the next person who orders the book has the edits. That's amazing. People don't realize. And so being able to offer them what KDP offers is huge. It's absolutely huge for businesses. And I think every business has some sort of low content book that they can use that would better their marketing and increase their own revenue. So partnering with them and helping them understand is it's an amazing strategy. With this strategy, there is zero out of pocket for you. If you aren't comfortable starting at the $5,000, which, that's total, I get that because you're just learning KDP yourself, but you can still, it's valued much higher than most people charge. Most of the people I have a whole class on this, and most of the people who learn this, they just have one book up and they're like, I'm happy to get $500. And what I tell them is, okay, hold on, at least charge $2,000 or $3,000 and then say, I charge this much, but right now with this book, I'm so excited to get this done for you. I'm only going to charge $500 or $1,000. If you have to discount it, do it that way. Don't devalue yourself. At the very least, you charge a $500 setup fee. I charge half up front and half at the end. And every time I've done that, they pay 100% up front. Okay. I don't ask for it. That's what they do. But at the very least, charge a $500 setup fee because you're going to do a lot of work on that front end. Once you're done, you're done. The other thing is there is a possibility for recurring revenue. You can set it up so that you are getting money from every book that they sell or that is sold through Amazon. Okay. If you want to do that, one of my students does that, and she adds on $5 a book. That's what every book that's sold, she makes $5. So she tells the people she's selling them, who she's working with, her clients, she adds that to their wholesale price. Okay. It's a whole strategy, but there is a possibility for recurring revenue. There's reasons why I don't do that, but there's options to do it that way if you want. I go into another class with that. Just wanted to share with you that this is an incredible way to generate income quickly. And you really don't have to have a lot of KDP experience. You just need to understand the value and the basics. Let me tell you who would be good clients for this type of a thing. Life coach or a therapist of some sort. Anybody who is asking their clients to track something or to write something down, to fill something out, so a coach, usually there's some sort of journaling that's involved. Well, wouldn't it be great if they had their own branded journal with the questions they actually want their clients to answer every day or every week that they could give them or sell to them? It's a great marketing tool. It's a great way to build a brand, which we'll get into in a minute. But life coaches, any kind of coach, it's a huge industry right now. they should all have some sort of low content book, a workbook, a prompted journal, something along those lines. Awesome clientele for the partnering method. Any influencer, a chef, a mommy blogger, you could do a cookbook for somebody. There's, I need to come back to this, circle back around. I haven't had an opportunity to, but when we were, right before we moved from Oregon, we used to live in Oregon, there was, we were getting, you know, those subscription meat boxes. We were getting one, I think it was Butcher Box or something. And then I didn't want that. I wanted something from local that was local. And so I found a local service and it was amazing. They actually delivered it the night before. It was super hot. We didn't even know it was delivered until the afternoon the next day, and it was still totally frozen. Anyway, long story, I ended up meeting the owner of the company through a Facebook group we were both in, had no idea that that's who she was. And we became friends. And one of the things I loved about their service was they included recipes and really great photos. She did nutrition. She was a nutritionalist. So she was trying to incorporate all of that into this business that they had. And I told her, I said, you need a cookbook. And what would be amazing is to have recipes that are specific to the sets, basically the cuts that your clients are getting. And since you have like certain boxes that they're getting, you could have a cookbook for each type of subscription that they get that includes recipes for those cuts. She's like, oh my gosh, I love that idea. And I said, I'll do it for you. I'm happy to do that. And she's like, you know, I'm going to give you meat for it. And we ended up moving and we never were able to follow up on that. But there's opportunity. There's so much opportunity. People don't understand that this is something that they can use in their business to better serve their clients, to grow their reach, and also to generate more income for them. Okay, a fitness trainer, anyone along those lines. A friend of mine, she went in, she was a student who became a friend, and she took this partnering idea and ran with it. And she started at her gym. I think that was where she started. I know she hit the gym. She was at her gym and she said, hey, how do you have your clients track their workouts? Do you give them worksheets or what do you do? And they said, yeah, we just give them worksheets. We haven't been able to really find the kind of tracker we want on Amazon that's already ready. And she's like, oh, well, what if we created a branded fitness log for your gym? Wow. So she did, and they started selling them in their gym for 20 bucks. She made $5 a book, plus it was on Amazon listed and it was branded for them. And she made all the money just to do the job. Okay. Lots of opportunity with gyms. Let's see. Realtors, again, an opportunity there. They spend a lot of money in marketing. Usually it's for things that people don't really care about, like calendars. And in fact, that's where I got this idea. I had gotten a calendar in the mail and from a realtor I didn't know. And I'm like, this is lame. I'm just going to throw this away. What a waste of money. I'm not going to hang this in my house. We don't even use these. Well, I do use a calendar like that now, but it's going to be something I'm going to choose. So what I realized was they need to do something that's a better tool for their clients. And a book is amazing for realtors. They can put it, I mean, I would brainstorm with a realtor to see what they wanted in it, but some ideas would be things like a maintenance log, a list of what you need to do monthly, weekly, quarterly, annually. And I would also include something along the lines of what you need to do to get your house ready to go onto the market. And then maybe some local resources where they have a discount code and they get a kickback from. You can put that in the book. And it's totally branded, not for the realtor, for the broker, but for the real estate agent. They have their name, their picture on the back, so it kind of goes with them, even if they change brokerages. Again, one of my students took it to a realtor friend. And guess what? It gets to one realtor in the office. And what do all the other realtors in that office see? Oh, that's really cool. I want one with my picture and my name on it. Okay, then they provide all the content. So this is partnering. You provide low content books for businesses, and it might take a little bit of thinking. Okay, what do coaches need? What do fitness trainers need? What do educators need? And if you usually sit and talk with them and just have a little bit of a brainstorm where you're like, you know, as an educator, have you thought about Like, do you have your own, what if you could make your own copy work pages, or I don't know, you start sharing ideas with them, and they will go, their wheels will start turning, and they actually end up coming back with some brilliant ideas for content. Okay, that was partnering. The second one is print on demand, and that's really just getting those books published, usually in higher volume. So you're getting as many books up, and each one generating some income for you. The process for this is you validate keywords, you validate themes, you create the book, you publish the book, then you optimize it before you really start generating any income. So that is really the process that I teach, is validate, create, publish, optimize, and sell. If you've taken my 10 books in 10 days class, we get you through publishing. If you've taken that really simple, we've talked a little bit about ads. That's more optimization, where you're starting to understand how to have your cover connect with your audience, because you can't really do keywords with your cover as much. And then finally, you're starting to generate some income. So that is the print on demand model. And again, that's the, once you've gotten through that process, that book will just work for you, and it's your book. You can do pen names. You get, I think, 9 different pen names that you can use. And you just generate those books and let them work for you over and over and over again. Some suggest some different books that I've done. This one, actually, I don't think it's published anymore, but the 90-day planner for the online seller was something that I did with a friend of mine. Here is another devotional that I did with a friend, Honey Woods. Actually, the cover, I don't think it even looks like that anymore. We redid it, but it's just little tidbits that we did. This is a workbook that I've done. And this workbook, it's full color. You guys, you can do, I'll show you sample books in a little bit, but this I offer as a PDF, and I have the book. And this I use in multiple ways to generate income, and I'll show you as we get into the next thing. So again, this is getting books up, multiple books, just kind of shooting them out. This is what you do. You're just validating themes, creating a book that serves that audience, publishing it, optimizing it, and then letting it work for you. Okay, that's the print on demand strategy. That's what most people do with KDP. They don't partner. They're just doing that. Okay, third on the list is brand building. All right, so brand building is where you are using KDP strategically to help build a brand. And I tie this into, you're using KDP to tap into Amazon's traffic. You're building an audience that's yours. You're able to harness Amazon's traffic, which is difficult to do with FBA, but it is in full compliance, if you do it right, with KDP. Okay, and here's what that looks like. So here's a couple books. This one is mine, 29 Ways to Repurpose What You Know into Income. Okay, which I'm working on a second one, which I think is going to have 50 more ways. So I do that with this book. And then this other book's a friend of mine, Jimmy Smith's Side Hustle to Full-Time Income. He did this brilliantly as well. This is what I'm talking about. So now Amazon changed this a little bit. Some of the books have this, some of them don't. But when you go to Amazon, you see this little look inside feature. Right now, they're changing it to be a button underneath that says sample. But that look inside feature is what you want. When you get that look inside feature, people who are looking to buy your book, they're going to click on that. And what are they going to see? They're going to see the inside. Well, you don't get to choose which pages show up on a sample or in that look inside. Okay. But what always shows up is the title page. And so that is prime real estate to use to harness Amazon's traffic. You have to be within their terms of service to do it. You have to provide something that's complementary or supplementary to your book. And that's pretty much it. They don't want the book full of advertisements to get people off of their site, but it is okay to do something like this. In fact, might be better, I need to go back and read, but I think there might be changing some things where this might be better to be on the back page, which is the publishing page, which also comes up as a sample. They always have the title page and the publishing information page, and then random pages that they choose are included. So I have download my free blueprint at buildyourinecomestreams.com on the title page of this book. It's right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. Okay. But you don't have to buy my book to get that. You can just do the look inside. Oh, if I was looking to buy this book, this is what I would do. I click on the look inside and then I would go, oh, I can get their blueprint. I'm going to go check that out. Then I'm checking that out before I ever even buy this book. Okay. And now when people do that with my book, I'm building an email list. They have to opt in. They have to give me their email to get the blueprint. And now I'm harnessing Amazon's traffic and building an email list. Jimmy does this really well. This is on his publisher page. So you have the title page, you turn that to the back to that. He has download the audiobook for free and he has grown his email list this way. So this is brilliant. He had the audio created. You could do the PDF version, or you could do, again, anything that's supplementary or complimentary like this. Okay, lots of different things. Here's another one. So this is a brand we're building out. We kind of put it on pause after Father's Day. We started it late. We didn't quite get it optimized in time for Mother's Day and Father's Day. But along what we did is, here's the dad's book. Actually, we ended up changing the cover, but this is the dad's book. And on the front, that page, it's just like this grandma's story. This is dad's story. There's a QR code and it says snag our free conversational cards at bonus.mymemorymakerclub.com and just scan that QR code. All right. So if I'm looking to buy this book, here's an example where there's no peek inside or look inside. You have to hit read sample. The pages that come up, you always get that title page and the publisher page behind it. So use that for its prime real estate to capture Amazon's traffic and build your brand. Also, you can use A+ content, which I didn't put in here, to do a comparison with different books that you have in a brand. So we have the grandma's story. I don't have that up here with me, but then we have the mom's story, dad's story. So we also have Nana's story. We didn't get grandpa's story done in time, but they're all done. They're just not published yet. So the A+ content would reference the other books that we have in the series. Okay, they're all very similar. This one's towards the dad, but similar questions, and then some that are only really for the dad, and this one's for the mom. Same with the grandma. So we can leverage one listing to have all the others. Also have an author page, which can have all of the books on it as well. So there's lots of ways to build out a brand. And once we've done this, we can take the look of it and do other things that are similar. I don't have the example for this, but one person did this really neat notebook. It was just like a lined journal. And the cover was this, looked like an oil painting of bright white daisies on a blue background. And they did really well with that. Well, if you scrolled down to the bottom of their listing, it also had, they had note cards with the same design. They had a mug with the same design. So they had a t-shirt with the same design on it. So they had been building out a brand with that image, and it was just a notebook. So there's lots of ways to build out a brand and to use KDP to do that, and it's free. It's a free tool. All right, so we have talked about partnering, we've talked about print on demand, we've talked about brand building, and now let's talk about printables. Let's see here. So a friend of mine came up to me, and he is known as the printable guy. I think you can find him at the printableguy.com, who taught me about printables. I'm just going to do high level on this, but you can, once you have your interior pages. So your interior pages are these, your whole manuscript, and it's a PDF file. Once you have that, you're uploading it into Amazon KDP, but you can take that same PDF file and you can sell it on places like Etsy, just the PDF as a download. Okay. And people are making a lot of money doing this. Here's some examples. This is just printed line paper. I don't know, even if it was 99 cents, it's 20 cents to list on Etsy for 3 months. Okay. A paycheck budget plan. Shoot, I cut that off. Let's see here. First grade at home learning bundle. All right. It's just a bunch of low content, $26.50 for this look at 128 reviews, not necessarily for this product, but for maybe for the store. Digital workbooks, there's math, there's handwriting practice. These might be not pages, but a workbook. It looked, I don't know. I thought that was maybe saddle stitched, but actually I don't think it is because they're crooked. $10. A business planner, $28. These are all printables. They're downloadable PDFs, which means when somebody buys it, it's automatically, they go to a page where they download it. They don't have to, nothing has to be shipped to them. So when you set up the listing in Etsy, you actually set up the deliverable, the printable there so that Etsy gives it to the customer. This is, I thought when this was first brought up to me, Nick Gomez, he shared this with me. And I'm like, this is great, but it's not going to generate that much income. I'm not really interested in, and he kept coming back. He's like, no, 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 you need to hear me. You need to listen. And he showed me an example of this nursing student who her store was about 6 or 7 months old at the time. And what she did was she rewrote all of her nursing notes for nursing school and she made them look really nice. It was not a font, it was handwritten, you could tell, but it was very legible, and she did a really good job. Maybe she outsourced it, I don't know. And she was selling this, she scanned them and was selling them as a PDF, okay? Minimum, what she was making, if you took the number of reviews that she got and the average she charged, the minimum in that 6 months, she was at $500,000 in sales for nothing but a PDF file, multiple PDF files. She had them for different classes. Since then, now she has other things in her brand where she has cheat sheet cards, on a key ring, and she's just done different things. It's amazing. And now there's more people there who are selling their nursing school notes. If you go to Etsy and search that, you'll see. But within a very short amount of time, she was making more than she would make as a nurse. So anyway, that got my attention, and I thought, man, I got to share this. There is a place for this, and you can either do this on its own, but you can also just leverage what you're already creating for KDP and sell it on Etsy for 20 cents every 3 months. Brilliant, brilliant strategy. So we've talked about partnering. That's my favorite. We talked about just print on demand and getting those books up there, and brand building. These kind of can all go together. And then we also, actually all of them can, right? And we talked about printables and being able to generate income with KDP by leveraging those interior pages and putting them up on Etsy too. So much opportunity here. So much opportunity. And I'm going to for years, trying to think how long it's been, probably 5 or 6 years, I've offered a class called 10 books in 10 days. I'm not offering that right now, but I started with my daughter, who came to me when she was about 12. We were homeschooling, and she said, Mom, I want to learn how to do, I think it was Create Space at the time. Let's see, she's 9. So she must have been 13. And she said, I want to learn how to do this. I want to create something. I'm like, all right, we'll get to it. And she's like, no, 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 just give me your password and your login. I'm going to figure this out. And she did. And she published an adventure journal, and it was just lined interior with a watermark behind it. But she learned the process. And so later she's written a few books now, and she's written long form books. Anyway, her and I started teaching 10 books in 10 days. We thought, how can we help people learn this process? And where people still get stuck, and some of you, I don't know how many of you have taken this class, the 10 books in 10 days, but people still get stuck with having to create a book and having to get through the process of KDP and learning that platform. Okay. So I've been thinking, how can I help people? Because I get the same people signing up for the class, and they haven't been able to get their book published, and it kills me because I want you guys to take advantage of this partnering and then print on demand, getting more books up and brand building and printables. I want you guys to be able to generate income, and you can't unless you get a book published. So I'm thinking, how can I help? And I finally came up with something. I'm so excited. And it is I'm calling it Your First Book. It's a KDP class where I will help you get your first book up. But here's the deal. This is what I'm going to call a practice book. One time my dad, actually, no, that was another story. One time I was coaching a guy who was really struggling to purchase product to resell on Amazon. He had been burned. He had a bunch of products sitting in his office and that he had as returns, and he was making bad decisions, and he was scared enough that he just couldn't pull the trigger to even spend $20 on inventory. And then he had the money to spend. It was a mental thing. And so what I told him was, I said, okay, let's take a step back. I want you to think of this as training. I want you to think of how much would you pay for training? He had joined our mastermind, which was $900 for 6 weeks. And I'm like, okay, you've just invested $900. What if you took that $900 and instead of joining us for the next round, take that $900, in fact, just take 200 and consider it training and go and buy and ship in inventory. Don't think it's going to be profitable. Don't think any of that. Just learn this new process and get that under your belt. Consider it training. Okay. So what I want to do is help you guys get your first book published so that you understand at the end of our time, you have a book published. It will be a practice book. It can be a sample book that you can use in the partnering. One of my students, she created a lined journal, which is what we're going to do here. A lined journal. That's all she did. It was not anything special, but that's what she created. And she got her first partner deal, okay, by showing them this lined journal, because people don't care about the content in the book. They're going to create their own content. They want to see the quality of KDP, and it's pretty good quality. So what I want to do is help you get through the hurdle of understanding the KDP platform. And what this means is I will teach you how to do keywords and research, but then I'm going to give you a list that you are going to choose a theme from. And then I'm going to give you a template for your interior. And this template, there's 2 versions. One, you're going to be able to put your own little quote. That's it. Inspiration, scripture, whatever you want to do. A quote on each page, or no quote, and it's done for you. You just have to upload the book, the manuscript. Okay. Third, I'm going to give you a cover. It will be done. You will just need to put your title on it, and I'll show you how to do that. That's it. You're not going to change it. You're not going to design it. You're just going to use what I give you, because the point isn't going to be to have some fancy book. It's to learn this process and get you a practice book. And finally, you're going to get all the training and guidance walking you through the process of publishing. So at the end of the time, you will have everything you need. Now, let me just tell you, when I can, from start to finish, if I have my interior and my cover done, it takes me less than 30 minutes to do the keyword research and get my book published. Okay. We're going to take 3 hours, maybe a little longer, 3 different webinars next week. And I'm going to walk you through, I'm going to give you everything you need so that at the end of the time, you will have a book published that you can use as your sample book if you decide to go into partnering. Okay. And not only that, you will have a new tool in your tool belt that you can use. And the next book that you do can be whatever book you want. You can make it look pretty. You can make the interior your own. In fact, I encourage you to move forward, but the hurdle of learning the platform will be behind you. It is not a difficult process, but so many people get stuck there. And I don't want you to get stuck. I want to help you get your first book published. And this is the way to do that. Okay. I want to remove all of the barriers to getting that first book up. Then that's no longer a hurdle for you. And you can focus on getting a nice cover, or you can focus on getting an interior, to doing a book that you really want to do. Okay. Or you then understand the process. You can take that book, that sample book, and you can partner with somebody to create a book for them and start earning money immediately. Sound good? So here's how it goes. It's going to be starting next week. There's 3 sessions. The first session, we're going to do research. I'm going to teach you how to do the research, but I'm going to give you keywords to use for this particular book. Okay. So you can apply the research to your future books, because you want to validate ideas on that front end. We want to find what types of books are people interested in and create those books. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. The second, that's on Tuesday, the 20th at 7 o'clock Central. The second one is on Thursday. Okay. On Thursday, we're going to go through the paperback details and the paperback content in the KDP platform. So you're going to get your account all set up. And in the KDP platform, we're going to do our title, our description, all the things we need to do, and our content. We're going to put the cover up. We're going to do our manuscript. We're going to choose the type of book, all the things we need to do. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. You can do it side by side with me during the workshop. Okay. This isn't a lecture. This is going to be, let's do this together and get yours done. And if we don't finish, we'll finish up that content piece on the third session. And that will be on Thursday, a week later, August 30th at 7 o'clock Central. And on that session, we will finish the content and we'll also then talk about pricing, and you'll learn how you can order a copy of your book and get it so that you then have a sample book that you can bring if you want to partner, or you just want to see the quality yourself. It is a book. It'll feel so good to get that done. And then, I'm just going to say what will probably happen is that book will end up getting, it'll just get buried in Amazon, because we're not going to use that to generate income. We're using that to have a practice book done and use that as a sample if we want to. But then we can move on, and our next book can be focused on generating income. It's just too much, tends to be too much for people. And so they get overwhelmed and shut down, and then they never make the progress that they need to make. So that's why I'm breaking it up this way. This class, guys, I cannot tell you, this is such a hard thing for me. So many people tell me, all the time, you do not charge enough for your content. You are teaching so much. You do not charge enough. You need to charge more. And these are from people who are doing similar things, and they're literally, their classes, their programs are $1,000 or more. I just don't do that. I do a little bit with coaching, but this class, it's $47 for the 3 sessions, but with a coupon price drop, it drops it to $27. I think that coupon expires tomorrow. So we start Tuesday next week. Guys, this will give you what you need to get started with KDP, and you can apply what you learn to any of those strategies that I shared with you. Each class, I am going to say an hour, but I tend to go long. So I'm going to, let's say, an hour and a half. They will be recorded and they will be put on YouTube and available in a private Facebook group as well, which I'm not ever going to close the Facebook group. It'll end up quieting down, but it will always be there as a resource for you. So if you can't make it live, or if you make it live and you want to watch the replay so you can pause and follow along, you can do it that way, or you want to watch it on double speed, whatever you want to do. You will have access to this training for life. This is a game changer. I promise, if you apply what you learn, and it's not difficult. It is not a difficult process. Like I said, I can do it in a half hour. You just need to know how to do it. And that's what I want to help you through. And I want to take away all those hurdles by giving you the cover, giving you the manuscript. Everyone will have the same manuscript and cover. You'll just tweak it a little bit to the theme that you're going to choose. Okay. Because we don't want a bunch of books all the same on KDP. But I'm going to give you what you need to do that, and it's not going to be very. I'll make it as simple as we can, so that at the end of the time you will have a book published on KDP, and you will be well equipped to generate your next book and create it how you want to, or partner with somebody, however you want to do that. Okay. So anyway, the website, it's tinyurl.com/yourfirstbook. Again, we start next Tuesday, August 20th, and it's Tuesday, Thursday, and then the following Thursday. All right, the 30th. So we finish it up. I will say, after this class, I am going to be doing an in-depth class on partnering and how to partner. And I haven't really announced this, but I wanted to let you know, if you are interested in partnering, you need to have a sample book. The book we create here would work for a sample book. Okay. So if you're interested in learning how to partner with businesses, this is it. Another little tidbit. Like I said, everybody tells me I don't charge enough. And I know I don't, but it's a whole nother problem that I have to your benefit. The partner, any class, once you've taken a class from me, if you have taken one before, I almost always, probably 99% of the time, give a special code that's for alumni. So if you've taken a class, I tag you, and I don't always, but I usually do. And so taking this class will give you a huge discount for the partnering class, or if you've taken a previous class from me. So just want to give a heads up. This is to prepare you for any strategy, but you will be ready to go into the partnering class if that's the direction you want to go. Okay, which tool do I use for keyword research? I use, oh, hold on, there's one more right above it. Oh, yep. I would love to have you. If you want to come in, again, this is just that simple. We're going to get your book. We will get your book done. You will have everything you need to do it. So you won't have to create anything other than change the title on the cover. That's really all that you have to do. So I'm making this as simple as I can and still have everyone in the class have a unique book. But let's see, which tool do I use? I use Amazon Evaluator. You can use Jungle Scout. You could use Helium 10. But I like Amazon Evaluator. I helped gave input in the development for it. It's not too feature rich like Helium 10. If you already have Helium 10 or Jungle Scout, those two would work. Keepa does not work because we are looking for, this is a unique listing. It's not, Keepa is a great tool for finding listings that you want to jump on, right? That you would add your product to, and that's not how this works with KDP. You have a unique listing with it. So the tools, I use Amazon Evaluator. How do I feel about using AI? Well, that's a good question too. And I know there's some questions in Q&A. I will tell you, let me answer this other question. I'll come back to the AI. So do they have to be low content only? Your books don't have to be low content. Nope, absolutely not. In fact, I have the same strategies apply. I have, this is not a low content book. It's a long form book. My Sweet Spot Revenue book is a long form chapter book. My Haywire Christmas book is a long form, even though it's only 40 something pages. But I've got lots of low content books. So that's really the focus. And this class, we will do a low content book. You don't have, I'm just going to say flat out, you don't really have say other than the theme for the book. You don't really have say what book you're going to do for this class, because I want you to get through the process. This is about learning the platform more than having a book that you really want. Okay. So the next step would be then learning how to doing whatever book you want. But yeah, you can definitely do anything. And the validation, the keyword research, all that applies. Everything's pretty much the same, whether it's low content, medium content, or long form. Okay, AI. So AI, I absolutely do not like AI. I'll tell you that flat out, but I use it as a tool. It is a tool for my business. I don't like using it to just pull information from anywhere. I don't know where its fingers are going. I love using it for helping to organize my own content. I also really like using it to tap into public domain. So KDP does ask you whether or not your content was generated by AI. And if you look at how they define that, they also have a term for AI. They say AI generated, you have to let them know it was AI generated. If your content was AI assisted, which means if you used something like Grammarly or even ChatGPT to help with the grammar, if you're providing the source content and it is helping you edit, arrange it, whatever, it is not AI generated, it's AI assisted. Therefore, you don't have to disclose it because it's the source of the content is not from AI. That is my preference. That's a whole nother class that I taught with a friend of mine who's also a student, Lori Swisher. Amazing strategy to tap into public domain works that you can use and create brand new books using AI with public domain. That's I don't like using it with images. Been there, done that, hate it. I don't think, one, I think it can infringe, but also the stuff it comes back with is just, I mean, I think you could create a funny book about it, but I like it for inspiration and a launch pad, but it is not my end all. Hopefully that answers your question. That's my perspective on it. Recipes or quotes copyrighted. The recipes, the way that they're presented, I believe can be copyrighted, but the actual recipe itself with the ingredients is not. Quotes, you need to source them properly. Really, if you source your content properly, you're good. Could you add how to use this first book and make a series with it? Linda, I'm not sure what you're asking exactly. Make a series with it, a series of books or a series of training on how to use your sample book. If you could clarify. There's a mistake with the last date, August 30th. Oh, let me check my calendar. Thank you. That's a bummer. Yep, it's the 29th. Thank you for catching that. So we're going to be, it's the Thursday. So we're going to do Tuesday, Thursday, the 20th, 22nd, and then the 29th. Okay. Sorry. Thanks for catching that. It's a good catch. Series of books. How to use your first book and make a series with it. I haven't gone into that for teaching yet. In fact, I haven't had the opportunity to do that on my own. I will be doing that. We're in the middle of making a couple series right now, but all it is you make your listing with get your books up separately first. So these two books are in a series. Okay. When we have them all up there and optimized, I'm going to say that they're in a series. And what happens is KDP creates another listing for the series. So you have, like, if these two were the only two, and I'd have a listing for the dad's story, a listing for mom's story, and then I would have a listing for the series. And it's just another, KDP walks you through that process. I've looked into it. I have not done that yet. I have that planned for this. And then also the preschool practice cutting series that my son is doing. We'll be doing that once those are up and optimized. But we're in the optimization. I would say we're in the optimization phase for some of these books. Remember that the validate, create, optimize, and then sell. So that's where we're at. Publish was right before optimize. So hopefully that answers your question. But of course, once I've gone through all of this, I'll share more, but it's not a difficult process. It's not really any different than creating a listing. So if you're familiar with creating a KDP listing, creating a series is not going to be much more challenging. Okay, any other questions? We did do a class on public domain. We will probably do it again. What we have done is created a book. If you're familiar with AI at all, we've created a Google Doc that is growing with conversations that we have, chats about using public domain. It really, if you understand public domain and understand AI, it's an incredibly valuable tool. But I think it really walks alongside the class we did. We'll probably be doing another one, but I don't have it on the books yet because frankly, I'm swamped with my schedule. But usually if I get enough people asking, that's when I'm like, you know what, it's time to do another class like this. So yes, we do have a class about using public domain. And yeah, maybe at the end of this class where you get your first book, we'll dig into a few more strategies just to kind of give some tidbits of if you are a do-it-yourselfer could run with. But that's really way beyond the scope of what this webinar is about. But good question. Anything else? Okay, I think we're good. I went over. Some of you guys, actually the number, I've been watching the participants, the number has been going up and down. I can do 10 more minutes if you guys are up for it. I have a lot going on. We have a house inspection tomorrow that we are not quite ready for, but I will go till 8:30 Central if you want to, and I'll show you how to validate. We'll do kind of an over the shoulder type of a thing, and I'll just give you, you can take some quick notes and you will learn how to validate keywords if you're up for it. All right, I got one yes. Let's get 3 and then we'll go. All right. It'll be on the replay. If you have to run, that's fine. All right, let's see here. Okay, I didn't prepare for this. I just was thinking, let's do this. All right, guys. So I focus on the low content. And here's how you validate keywords, okay, for KDP. This is for KDP, and I'm going to show you the tools that I use. And if I were you, I would take notes. So number 1, I always start with the search bar. Always start with the search bar. The reason is that Amazon is going to give suggestions, right? And the suggestions are based on, they're based on what customers have searched for on Amazon. So it is a first filter for me to determine what people are looking for. So when I'm validating keywords, I'm learning what are customers looking for. And then I do a little bit of run it through this 3-step test. to determine whether or not is it too competitive? Is there, I want to know there's enough demand, and then I want to know, is it too competitive? And when I find that sweet spot, I take note and I realize there's room there for me to get a book in that could serve this audience. And then I go create that book. Not always, sometimes I'll give it to somebody else as an idea, or I'll just save it for later. But this is the way we do this. So that's validating. It increases your opportunity for your book to sell. Now, I will say this, it's not a guarantee that your book is going to sell, because people do judge a book by its cover. This book, for example, did not sell. And so I need to bring the other books downstairs, but we learned through the optimization process that it needed a different cover. I got a new cover done. It's totally different. It's much more industrial looking. And we started getting some momentum, but then we pulled it because Father's Day came and went. But we'll be doing that again next summer. We'll be pushing that again for Father's Day. But my point is that this wasn't selling. It wasn't selling, and it wasn't because of the content. The content in here is great. And it wasn't because of the theme, because we did validate keywords for it. The problem we discovered was the cover. And the only way to do that is to get your book up there. So right now, when we validate, we are pulling data from all the other books that are there, but none of them are really your book. So we're pulling from what we have. It is a great starting point, and it increases our opportunity for success, but it isn't a 100% guarantee, because we're not actually testing our book. Okay. It gives us a good starting point. So I always start with the search bar, and I just maybe have something in mind. So let's do see if there's like a doodle book kind of a thing. So if I type in doodle, okay, a couple thoughts here. So if you do this, you're probably going to just get this list over here on the left. I have a free Chrome extension called the Amazon Suggestion Expander, and it expands these suggestions as if I had typed in, like how it says Google for adults, Google for toddlers. It's pulling that. So if I typed that in, it would be giving adults, toddlers. Okay. I might get more if I type it in, but it's basically a shortcut by providing more terms that people are searching for. So that's the Amazon Suggestion Expander. And I'll put that link in there. You guys can all have it. Let's see. Here's the deal. You have to, it's going to be in the chat. You can search for it in Chrome. You have to click on that link in your Chrome browser. It only works in Chrome. All right, so if I'm looking for a doodle book, now I want to look for a book that is something that relates to KDP. So the key phrase that I'm looking for here has to be something that can apply to a KDP book. It doesn't have to say like Double Doodle. That might be a brand. I don't know. But maybe that's talking about a candy bar. I don't know. But no, that's a bad example. Anyway, because even though it doesn't say book in there, it might apply to the book I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing 2 doodles on each page. I don't know. My point is that like Doodle Shampoo isn't going to apply to a KDP book. Okay. Doodle Bear might, because maybe my book is all about doodling bears, teddy bears, different kinds of bears. I don't know. So I just want anything that applies to a KDP book. Things just to know, KDP books, they are pretty much any size, but they're never leather. They're never spiral bound. They have hardcover and paperback. They have color interior and black and white. They don't offer a dust jacket. They don't offer a pen holder or a bookmark or anything like that. So if you see anything like that, those aren't going to apply, right? But doodle for anxiety, doodle for teens. Let's do doodle for anxiety. So I'm going to click on something that is suggested. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to look how many results come up. So I'm going to run it through this 3-step test. So I look for something that's suggested, and then I run it through this 3-step test. It's the 3 R's. The first R is results. I want to see that there's less than 3,000 results. So back to that search bar. That search bar tells us there's some demand. People are looking for, they're searching and typing in doodle for anxiety. Notice I'm logged out, okay? Doodle for anxiety. I also want you to notice I search at the all level. I don't go into books. So then I go to the 3 R's. The first R here is results. I want to see that there's less than 3,000 results. That helps me. It's an indicator for how competitive it is. How many books show up for this key phrase? 683. So it's well under 3,000. So I move on to the next R. The next R is going to be rank. Now, if you're a seller, you might think of rank as a no-no. We don't really look at rank this way. We don't care really what the number is. We want to see if you're looking at Keepa, you're looking at the drops, but this is different. We're looking at the space for an average rank. We want to see it's less than 1 million for these results on this page. So that's where I use the Amazon evaluator, and you could use Jungle Scout. You could use Helium 10 for this, but Amazon evaluator, this is what it looks like. I have a coupon, drops the price down to $7.99 from $17.7 or $7.99 a month. You get it for a month, do all your keyword research, then cancel it, or you can use Helium 10. They have the X-ray Chrome extension. I think they have a free trial for that. I'm not sure, but they used to. Jungle Scout, I don't think they have anything free, but it all kind of looks like this and gives you similar information. So here, there's this little deal right here. So you can use this for a standard. I wouldn't do this anymore. It actually needs to get updated because Amazon has changed their regulations for private label really and unique listings this way. Merch, you could probably use this for the merch test, but for KDP here, it's valid. Use the 3 R's for KDP. And all it does is give you this bar across the top to tell you whether it passes the 3 R's or not. If you went to standard, it still gives you the data. It's just not relating that data to any particular platform or strategy. But this one is a shortcut. So I will tell you, even though it tells me it passes, the reason it does is that average rank. This gives it to you for those first 10 listings that come up that are organic, not like this is an ad, not the ads. And then it also tells you for the whole page. What this does is it pulls the information. Each line going across is pulling the data from the listings in the order that they organically show up. I haven't sorted them or anything. So this first one is Out of Your Mind, a journal and coloring book to distract your anxious mind. All right. This one, it's listed for 12. So this says 12/12, but if you see here, it's 12/28. So that means this pulls, I don't know how often it pulls, if it's every hour, or every 24 hours or what. All of them pull a little bit differently. So obviously it's not completely accurate. Sales rank, so the average rank, it's pulling all of this from Amazon, the data that Amazon gives. Now, Amazon doesn't give you exact numbers for revenue. So there's some algorithm that these tools use to capture that. It's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a picture. Okay. So this first book, for example, is bringing in about $2,100 a month in revenue. Obviously, it's got 548 reviews. It's a popular book. What we want to see, though, I'm just showing you where this data is coming from. It's pulling from each listing information. So each line is its own book. We want to see that the average rank is less than 1 million. And you can I like to just kind of look at both. And I always ask why. If one of them's above 1 million and the other one isn't, I'm like, well, what is it that's driving the price up or the rank up? And it might be one is like 5 million and it's driving that rank really high. Anyhow, you want that to be under 1 million. The third R is reviews. We want to look at reviews, and we're only looking at these first 10 listings, which is right here. And we want to see that there's 3 or 4 in those first 10 listings that come up that have less than 50 reviews. So let me go back. The average rank goes back to the demand. If it's over 1 million, it's probably not really ever going to sell. If the average for these books is over 1 million, it's probably not going to sell. Okay, so we want to look for less than 1 million for the average rank. The reviews, books that have more reviews sell more. So if all of these these first 10 that come up have a lot of reviews, they're very established in that market, there's probably not space for a new book to come in. Okay, it's too competitive. But this looks like we have 4. We have 44, 0, 0, 18 in these first 10 listings that have less than 50 reviews. And that tells me it's not too competitive. This tool here tells you exactly there's 4. tells you how many results there are. It gives you all the data right here and it gives you a pass. Okay. So what was the doodle for anxiety? Look at that. I mean, I didn't do this ahead of time at all. That passes. So you could create some sort of doodle book for anxiety. If you have no clue what that's going to look like, then what I like to do is, close that, is I will look and see. So that one we know is a coloring book. There's an activity book, oodles and oodles of doodles, anxiety and stress relief. So I would look for one that has reviews. This doesn't. What kind of sales did it say it had here? It's this one. So this one doesn't have any sales yet. So I don't know if it's a newer book or what. So I would look for something that has some reviews, even that first one, and see what does it look like inside. Can I look inside of it? Read sample. Well, here I can even do this. So it gives you some ideas of what that might look like. Now, you don't copy this, but you can use it for inspiration. Okay, and go and look at a whole bunch of them. So remember when I said that peek inside, we get the cover. Here's the title page. They could be, they're leaving money on the table by not having an incentive that's something along, you know, would you like more printable coloring pages? Join, you know, come over, click here to go get more that you can download and print off your own printer. They would be building an email list, and with that many reviews, they're leaving money on the table. Then this is the publishing page behind that. Oh, wait, looks like they put an extra set of pages. This is their title page. Again, there's nothing here though to, they could certainly be taking advantage of putting an incentive there. There's that publishing page. Introduction, anxiety, fighting activities. So these are just ideas, but it's a little coloring book, right? They're all black and white. This is you to put some sound. It's funny that it's a tape. Cross, letter search, word search, I mean. Anyway, so you just get some ideas of what this book has. This one has done really well with its reviews. And then go and I'd look at a few others. And that's what I would, if I had no idea what to include, I would look to see what is being included that people are liking. Another thing you can do is go to the reviews and see what people are actually saying that they like about the book. Go to the number one, like the 0 or the 1 star, and see what people don't like about the book. Those are some ways you can figure out what it should look like as well. So that passes. Doodle for anxiety passes. Usually it's not that quick, but that was pretty cool. All right, I'm going to stop there. We are at 8:34 Central Time. I would love to spend more time. I love this topic. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about KDP. And honestly, I really hope that you feel like empowered to know that there is a tool that you can use to generate income that costs nothing. Guys, if you have teenagers or even the preteen, even younger, they can be a part of this and start creating books. If we homeschooled, and this is a great way to get kids involved in projects where they can be generating income. So anyway, I just really hope that you guys are empowered, feel a little bit more equipped to understand what KDP is and the power of it, and how there's multiple ways and strategies that you can generate income using KDP for your business. If you have any questions or anything in the future, you know how to reach me. But of course, I'm on Facebook. But then Jenny@jennyhunt.com is my email. I love hearing from people and helping people along the way. So anyway, guys, have a great week. And hopefully I will see you on Tuesday to help you get your first book published on KDP. Thanks.